Hey everyone, it's me again. I hope you all are having a good first 6 days of the year. I know I am. So, today I shall bring you the reading of the second chapter of my novel Alpha. And, without further ado, here we go. Chapter 2, Home. It was about 2 or 3 hours. I lost track when I finally got back home thanks to the two military guys who picked me up. I live in Las Vegas, or rather near it, in a neighborhood known as Paradise Palms. City of Sin really lived up to its name if it let a guy like me live close by. I definitely fit in with the other bottom barrel trash that the city calls citizens. I honestly don't know why people still call this an iconic location to visit in America. It's as filthy can be. Then again, who am I to judge? The Jeep drove down the paved road toward my home based on the info I gave to my camo-clad saviors. Driving through the usually quiet neighborhood with its freshly painted houses, lawns with patches of dead grass, and the occasional palm tree placed to make the place look exotic. It went on like this until we finally reached my house, a small one-story building in the middle of the street. It was a fairly decent place as far as houses go, however I can't help but think that I can do better. I got out of the Jeep and thanked the soldiers before stepping onto the stone path leading to the front door, but not before the guards gave me one last piece of advice. Next time, sir, try not to overindulge yourself. I accepted the advice with a nod and they drove away. Good riddance. I walked up the path to the door of my house, put the key I miraculously still had in my pocket in the lock, and opened the door. Smelled breakfast hitting me in the face. First person I saw when I walked into the living room was my roommate, a skinny, nervous fellow by the name of Horace. He was currently indulged in his morning pastime of watching the local news. I don't know why he bothers so much with it. Nothing but reports on the recent supposed mob hits, garbage fires, and local celebrities going on alcohol-fueled joyrides. As soon as I walked in, he turned to look at me in all my post-hangover glory. "Oh my God, John, where were you?" he asked in his usual worried tone. Horace always had a habit of getting worried about the littlest things. Me coming home late, for example. I guess that's what made him such a good roommate, and I was glad to have him around. "It's fine, man, don't worry. Just a little run-in with some bad company is all," I said, trying to reassure him. He stood up and led me to the kitchen. "I'm just glad to see you're alright. Have a seat, I'll make you something," he said while searching the fridge for some breakfast ingredients. Horace could best be described as a legitimately nice guy, a rare sight to see in this city. He even had a respectable job as an accountant for the Luxor Hotel. Definitely a step up from my dead-end position as the assistant janitor at the Polo Towers. He didn't really agree with my constant drunken antics and often tried to suggest rehab a few times, to which I often replied with my usual excuse of doing it to avoid the pain. Needless to say, he has put up with me all this time. I guess he just needs someone around to be his only guy friend in the world. Not that I'm complaining. "So, what sort of bad company are we talking about?" he asked while putting some eggs in boiling water. "My so-called loving friends, that's who," I said, putting as much sarcasm in as possible. "Was it Mikey again?" he asked. "Yep, that asshole," I said. "You should really stop hanging out with that guy. I swear, one day he's gonna get you killed," Horace said, exaggerating as usual. I was quick to correct him. He may be a huge dick, but he would never get me in that much trouble. Besides, he should be worried about me doing that to him. Horace then brought my eggs where I was sitting, along with some coffee he had brewing at the time. "I have no doubts about that, my friend." "He was a huge dick," a voice chimed in from the hall, a voice I knew all too well. It was Amber, Horace's girlfriend, who lived with us. She used to be Mikey's girlfriend until she caught him with two prostitutes he picked up in town during one of our nightly benders. She has been loyal to Horace, although I am convinced that she's only with him for his massive paycheck he gets from his job. Even though she claims she is only trying to help him man up and be there for him. I don't know, maybe I'm just that much of a cynic. "Mikey," I simply replied. "No surprise there," she said in her usual dismissive tone, whenever that name came up in a conversation. "So, what happened to you, John?" "He left me on the desert this time," I answered. "That's a new low, even for him. So, what are you gonna do about it?" she asked. "No one's doing anything to anyone. It happened and that's all that matters," Horace said, trying to be the peacekeeper as always. "I'm sorry, man, but that's not just how it works. This is definitely a last straw and I need to give him a piece of my mind," I said before taking a bite out of one of the eggs. Horace still tried in vain. John, please. Horace, Amber stated in a tone reminiscent of a mother scolding her child. You need to stop sticking your nose in John's business. He needs to fight his own battles. Besides, he's a grown man. He can handle himself just fine. Horace was almost always at a loss for words whenever Amber talked to him that way. That was just proof who was really in charge around here. Horace gave one last plea. Just promise me you won't get violent. No promises, I simply said. Well, you go ahead and take your revenge or whatever. I'm going to work, he said, giving up entirely. He then grabbed his suitcase by the door and headed out, but not before giving one final remark. I better not hear anything about the police going here when I get back. Just go crunch your numbers, babe, Amber said, sending him on his way. After my roommate made his leave, Amber turned to me and said, So you want me to get that asshole over here? Please, I said before taking a sip of coffee. As she went to the room to make the call, I went over what I was going to say to Mikey. I'm just not sure if I should forgive him for this time. I guess it all depends on his excuse. And there you have it. That is the second chapter. So now the third and final chapter will be coming soon. So you'll be looking forward to that, I bet. Well, that's all for today, and I'll see you later.